on the TV, on the radio, and even social media. Everyone has become a debater. Hot heads, hot takes, and lots of hot air are now the norm. But only one can be the master debater. This is Master Debaters from News Talk 550 KTSA and FM 1071.
And I'm Dennis Foley. Welcome to Master Debaters, the show where the best argument wins. Joining us this week, our first debater can be heard on WRNO in New Orleans, James Parker. Hey, James.
Hey, good to be here. Thank you very much.
And thank you for being here. Our next debater can be heard on San Antonio Sports Star, 1250 AM and 94.5 FM, James Pledger. Hey, James.
What's happening, Dennis? I'm feeling a little randy today. I don't know. I got a haircut and a shave. I'm feeling kind of sexy. I'm feeling myself. Let's do this.
Okay. We'll call you Randy then. And our third debater this week is an empty chair, who graces us with its presence this week. Just sitting comfortably in the other side of the room for me. Just sitting there, doing its thing. And
I like my odds.
Yeah.
I feel like it's judging me.
Sure. All three of our debaters, including the empty chair, will be presenting arguments in an effort to try to win over our judge, who this week is KTSA News reporter Katie Barber. Hey, Katie.
Hello, Dennis. I haven't seen you in a minute.
Yeah. Now, her job will be to analyze and critique each response that our contestants give to questions that I present throughout the show. And along with asking most of these questions, I am also the show's referee. So if there's something I hear that I don't like, you'll hear this whistle, that one right there. Now, before we get started, let's give our contestants a chance to get to know our judge, Katie, a little bit better with a question. So let's start with James Parker. Do you have a question for a judge, Katie?
Yes. Where is your high school?
In Katy, Texas.
No irony there at all.
No, like
That's
it's spelled
weird.
the same way as my name.
Katy. So that's West Houston. See, you get a lot
Yeah.
from that. Thank you very much, Katie Barber.
All right, James Pledger. Do you have a question for a judge, Katie?
Katie, which anime would you prefer to watch over and over again? Hunter x Hunter, Dragon Ball, or Death Note?
So because you said Dragon Ball specifically, I will say Dragon Ball because I prefer the strong narrative of Dragon Ball. I like Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Super too, but Dragon Ball is actually my favorite of the bunch. So that one.
I've only heard of one of them, so I'm clueless on this one. Let's start the debate.
Opening arguments on Master Debater.
It is time for opening arguments. In this segment, I will give each combatant a question. That combatant will answer that question, and our judge, Katie, will give them a score between 0 and 10 points. They will have 30 seconds for their argument, and a buzzer will let them know when that time is up. The first topic: if your house is chock full of a noisy little toy, it seems that you're far from alone.
Across the country, homes are ringing with the pitter-patter of flying fingers on plastic. They're called Pop-It, basically a silicone-colored version of the bubble wrap everyone loves to pop. Versions include ice cream cones, unicorns, or even a little heart. The backstory includes a monkey and, of course, a TikTok video, but sales are through the roof. These are not to be confused with the Pop-It Pal, a toy where people can pop fake pimples on fake skin or even phony noses, complete with an all-natural pus. You're welcome for that visual.
Thanks. That's correspondent Allison Keys. We're going to start with James Parker. Would you buy this toy? 30 seconds.
Heck yes, I would buy this toy, and I would encourage you to buy this toy. I have young children, and we got it to occupy them while they're in the backseat of a car or while they're in a waiting room or where they just need to be occupied. And it works so good on them, I start to do it myself. And it's very satisfying. It really does. It gives you something to focus on, especially if you're a fidgety person. It's very calming, and it looks stupid, and you feel stupid doing it, but you feel better.
All right, Katie, what score you want to give that 0 to 10?
I just have one. Can I ask one follow-up question?
Sure.
So does it really make that sound?
It's not that
Like, does it
loud.
make a
They
popping
must have
sound?
put that. It's like the microphones they use on the uprights in the NFL. So whenever someone hits the pole, it's like boom. No, it doesn't sound like that. No, it's not that. It's not that obnoxious.
Like
You can
like
barely
on a
hear it.
scale of barely
Parabolic
hear it. 'Cause I
mic
was
right
gonna
on
say-
top of it.
And they just blew it up in Adobe Audition. They put a big compressor on it and blew it. It is not near. You can barely hear it if the person next to you is doing it.
Okay, because that changes. That's exactly what my answer is dependent on. Because I hate the idea if it makes all that noise. Because that would drive me nuts. So, but I could see that being something that is satisfying, like the new age fidget spinner, right? So I'll give that a 5.
Okay. Next topic. A brand new haunted attraction will be possessing a portion of the Rolling Oaks Mall starting next Friday.
Gruesome rooms, haunted hallways, creepy corridors, and special surprises are taking over the first floor of the Rolling Oaks Mall in October. The 6,000 square foot haunted house maze will be open through Halloween and opens next Friday. Tickets are $20 and available online for people ages 12 and older. Katie Barber, KTSA News.
All right. So, James Pledger, are you a fan of haunted houses? 30 seconds.
I am absolutely a fan of haunted houses. I've always loved haunted houses. They're so much fun. And the fact that they're doing this to Rolling Oaks Mall, which is already a scary place in the first place, I am all in. This is going to be so much fun. It's wonderful reporting. I had no clue that this was happening, but now that I do know that this is happening, I am going straight over to Rolling Oaks Mall at some time between now and Halloween and checking out how they turn the entire first floor of that mall into a haunted house. That sounds like so much fun.
All right, Katie, score 0 to 10 for that.
So I'm a little biased because the reporting was good. So I will give that an 8.
And they failed to take advantage of the pander. So there is that. Next topic, a party bus saves the day for a school field trip.
It's another sign of the school bus shortage felt nationwide. In Massachusetts, a group of high schoolers rode a party bus, complete with a stripper pole and neon lights, on a class trip. A teacher at the Brook Charter School in Boston said in a since-deleted tweet that the original bus had fallen through. The teacher is now using his viral status as a platform to speak about flaws in the education system. The state has already called in the National Guard to help with the bus driver shortage.
That's correspondent Lisa Mateo. How do you both feel about teens being on a party bus? You're going to share 30 seconds. Starts now.
I like the idea of the sound system on the bus. It could be used as like a multiple educational layer because you could be picking them up and that you could be playing like Of Mice and Men, the audio book there, or you could be listening to the morning news, or like it's another way to actually get information into the kids. And is it really a stripper pole if there's no stripper? I think it's just a pole on the bus with the high school kids.
I am all in on this because I went to Smiths Valley, and if I could have a party bus to go to school instead, it would have made riding the bus that much more fun because, let's face it probably comes with a kegerator.
All right. So, Katie, what score do you want to give that argument 0 to 10?
I actually really like both of their arguments.
I just want one score. Just one score.
Oh, one score? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I'm going to give out of what?
0 to 10.
0 to 10. I'll give them a 10. And I feel like the poll is an opportunity for physical education, like a good way to work your core and upper body. So it's all around a great idea.
So the empty chair is getting 10 points. Well, coming up.
Wait.
Coming
No.
up. The stories that's been the conversation of the entire nation. Will debate that and much more next, right here on Master Debaters from KTSA.
This is Master Debaters, the show where the best argument wins.
It is, and this is where things begin to heat up a little bit. We have James Pledger and James Parker, as well as an empty chair, all competing this week to convince our judge, KTSA News reporter Katie Barber, that their argument is the best argument. And if you want to be a judge on a future edition of Master Debaters, head over to our website, ktsa.com, and sign up. It's that easy. Let's keep this debate going.
For argument's sake, on Master Debaters.
So here I'm going to give all three contestants, we'll throw the chair in as well, the same question. They will each take a turn presenting their argument on that topic. After they each take their 30 seconds to respond, our judge will give them anywhere from 0 to 20 points for their responses. The first topic, the fiancé of Gabby Petito, the 22-year-old who went missing and then was found dead has been indicted. An arrest warrant is out, but it's not for the murder, and he's nowhere to be found.
For yet another day, police near Sarasota say they searched and found nothing pointing toward Brian Laundrie's whereabouts. Laundrie now indicted by a federal grand jury in Wyoming, not for Gabby Petito's homicide, but for allegedly using a credit card and PIN after her death that did not belong to him and taking out $1,000. The FBI says this allows him to arrest Laundrie, but it's still investigating Petito's death.
That's correspondent Alex Stone. We're going to start with James Parker. How much interest do you have in this case? 30 seconds.
I'm usually not interested in these because, I'm not one of those guys that watches Law and Order and CSI and all of that. But this one's very interesting just because it happened so slow in front of your face, and we all had a chance to keep up with the story as it was happening. So it was like one of these Tiger King Netflix docuseries, except it was happening in real time. And so, of course he did it. It's just a matter of time. And has he killed himself already, or are we going to have to watch him get arrested and go to trial? That's all we're waiting on. But no, totally interested, just because it was a really good storyline.
James Pledger, your 30-second argument.
Usually interests me quite extensively just because I am a curious person by nature, and I also love murder documentaries and investigative features. So this has caught my attention, and now I'm just trying to wait to find out a lot like James Parker. Is he going to go to jail? Is he going to find a way to get rid of himself before jail comes, or is this going to be like where he ends up in jail and then pulling an Aaron Hernandez while in there?
So before I go to Katie, I will say I am a Law & Order fan, most of the older episodes, but I'm not a huge, follower of this. I care about it for the news, but I'm not sitting here at night, what's going on, watching live feeds of everything. So I guess I'm the opposite of what James Parker was saying. But Katie, what score do you want to give all three of our debaters, 0 to 20?
So the chair gets 0 because I'm upset it got points last round. And silence is violent. And honestly, I am not a huge true crime fan, and I don't know. The story has been a little bit. I feel for her family for sure, just like I feel for any family of any person that's missing. But I find this story to be a little bit overdone. So I'm not particularly interested. So I'm going to give both of you guys the same score because you guys agreed. But so I'm going to give you both a 10 because I don't want to give you a 0 because it feels mean.
But you did give the empty chair a 0, so I guess you're being mean to the chair.
It says I'm kicking over the empty chair, actually.
Okay. It's taking note of that. More people are checking out two famous brothers with their own descriptions of Monday Night Football.
It's one of the highlights of the young NFL season, the Manning brothers.
He had no option but to catch that ball. That ball was just implanted in the chest right there.
The ball caught him. The ball caught.
Eli and Peyton have been doing their own play-by-play of the Monday night broadcasts on ESPN2. They more than doubled their viewership in Week 2 with 1.9 million viewers. The traditional broadcast on ESPN had 11.9 million.
That's correspondent Steve Kathan. So the Manning brothers, have you seen their version of Monday Night Football? And if you have, do you like it or not? We're going to start with James Pledger, 30 seconds.
I've actually watched both of the Manning megacasts now, and I find it much more enjoyable than even the regular broadcast. It is like hanging out with your friends and just talking about football the way you would during a broadcast, only they can break it down a little bit better, but it's still fun. They have special guests that come in like Rob Gronkowski or Ray Lewis, and they tell stories, and it just ends up being incredibly enjoyable to watch. I am all in on the Manning megacast.
James Parker, 30 seconds.
Saw some highlights of it. I didn't see all of both games, but I love the concept. You just need a couple of better participants in the activity. What I would like to see is there be a total homer for each team that is stuck doing the broadcast together. One guy is for one team, one guy's for the other team. But those guys travel around, so you get to have your own guy in the booth go against the other guys in the booth, and they become their own known entities as well. This could really end up being something bigger than this Manning stuff, but this is a good start.
All right, Katie, what scores are you giving all three of our debaters, 0 to 20?
I actually haven't had a chance to watch the MegaCast, but I want to now. Both of y'all have been convincing. This one's a little bit more difficult for me to grade, but we're gonna go with 0 for the chair again because it's rude.
Because haters are gonna hate.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna give James Parker a 15 and James Pledger an 18.
Okay, next topic. More Americans are turning to a higher power on their own terms, becoming nuns. That's N-O-N-E-S, nuns.
A former Southern Baptist minister has a prediction. Within 10 years, the number of people in the U.S. who affiliate with no particular faith will be larger than any individual religious denomination. Ryan Burge is a political science professor at Eastern Illinois University and author of The Knowns. Burge says about 70 million American adults identify without a religion. Considered mostly a youth movement, Knowns are turning to spirituality from within through meditation or yoga.
That's correspondent Lisa Mateo. We're going to start with James Parker, 30 seconds. This is a good thing or a bad thing?
I mean, it's kind of a bad thing. It's not the end of the world. You know, there's pendulums that swing. A population will become more secular, and then they'll become more religious, and it goes back and forth. So I'm not sweating it too hard. I don't think meditation or yoga is a replacement. You know, yoga is where you're just going around in different positions, trying to control your breathing, try not to fart for a half hour because other people are in the room to you. But religion, it'll come back. It's fine. I'm a big fan. There's no need to worry about it.
James Pledger, good thing, bad thing, 30 seconds.
A bad thing. I look at it in terms of religion serves as a good purpose, as a barometer of good and evil, right and wrong for children and youths. And if not, then what are we teaching our kids? I think there are obvious things that certain religions teach that are hateful that can be done away with. But much like anything in our lives, I think we need to take the good and bad of different things and kind of put it together to make it fit best for the 21st century.
All right, Katie, what scores are you giving all three of our debaters, 0 to 20?
So, James Parker, I'm going to disagree with you about yoga. but, you know, I totally understand and respect what you're saying. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a 12. James Pledger, I don't think it's a bad thing, but I agree that there should definitely be a conversation. So I'm going to give you a 10. And the chair can have like 2 points.
You're feeling nice now, right? That's the whole thing.
I feel like 3 zeros isn't very fun. So.
Okay. Mother Nature and the supply chain woes could put a damper in your Christmas tree selection this holiday.
According to the American Christmas Tree Association, supply chain disruptions are to blame for a shortage of artificial trees. Retailers say the setback could quadruple shipping costs compared to last year. Extreme weather events in the Pacific Northwest have also taken a toll on the nation's live Christmas tree supply.
That's correspondent Elise Preston, and apparently it affects both artificial and real trees. So we're going to start with James Pledger. If you can't get a tree this year, assuming you don't have one, what's your backup plan? What are you going to do if you don't have a tree? 30 seconds.
First, my biggest takeaway from this story is that there is an American Christmas Tree Association. How come I never knew the ACA was a thing, and where have they been up until this point? Secondly, if I don't have a tree, I will find a twig, I will put an ornament on it, I will call my Christmas tree Groot, and I will be fine, because Christmas is about the spirit, not the actual manifestation of having things, and I am full of Christmas spirit all the time, so I am all in on Christmas, shortage or not.
All right, James Parker, your 30-second argument.
All right, first off, this sounds like complete propaganda and BS from the cartel of Big Tree. Between the artificial and natural tree people, they can both have a shortage the same year at the same time. That doesn't sound believable. And how on earth can there be a Christmas tree shortage when you could just go out and chop down a tree in the woods and bring it back and put it in your living room? There's not a shortage. Drive from here to, like, Atlanta and tell me there's a shortage of trees you can chop down and put in your living room for a month. There's not. This is garbage, and I'm not buying it for 1 second.
All right. And I would imagine the empty chair in the corner is probably snickering because it probably thinks that it itself can be a Christmas tree if it had to be. But, Katie, what scores?
I actually heard the Christmas tree say COVID was the reason for the shortages, so.
Oh.
Oh.
So the tree said that or the chair said that?
The chair.
The chair said that, yeah.
Oh. Katie.
But you said it could be a tree if it wanted, so I think it's starting to identify as a tree now.
Katie, what scores are you giving 0 to 20 to all three of our debaters?
So, Pledge gets a 20 because of Groot. Because, Groot would make any holiday brighter, every single one of them. And I like the spirit. I will give James Parker an 18 because I agree, big tree, it's just a conspiracy. And I'm going to give the chair 0 points because I'm pretty sure that the chair is actually a part of the big tree.
The big tree industry?
The cartel,
yeah. Exactly. Yeah, exactly, the cartel. The chair is actually the head of the big tree cartel.
We got an antitrust case right here, right now. We're just playing around.
It's big tree.
It's the head of the ACA.
Yeah. Well, coming up, our debaters, they've got some arguments they want to present to the judge. We'll find out what that is after this. This is Master Debaters from KTSA.
This is Master Debaters from 550 KTSA and FM 1071.
I'm Dennis Foley. Joining us this week, we have James Parker, James Pledger, and I guess an empty chair we could call James if we wanted to give chairs a name, although it's just sitting in the corner, a little dusty. It's having a weak appearance on the show this week, but they're all trying to coerce our judge, Katie, to give them more points to their fellow competitors. So let's keep this debate going.
State your case on Master Debater.
So in this part of the show, our competitors came in before the show with a topic they wanted to discuss and present to our judge. They will get 60 seconds to do so. During those 60 seconds, if the other combatants wish to challenge, they will each get 30 seconds each after the original case is done being presented. Now, after all those challenges, the original presenter will get their own 30 seconds to respond to their challengers, and if they change their topic for what they had sent in before the show, they will get an automatic 5-point penalty. There are also a broader range of points at stake. Our judge can now give up to 20 points, but she can also take away up to 20 points from everyone, whether they challenge, choose to stay quiet, or present their argument. So you guys want to guess who the points leader is at this point in the show?
Pledger.
The big Christmas tree propaganda chair.
The correct answer is James Pledger. Your 60-second argument starts now.
Well, for me, I want to talk about something that is going on in the NFL right now. And Urban Meyer came from college to the NFL to take on the Jacksonville Jaguars job. And according to his pregame interview before his Week 2 matchup against the Broncos, it seems like he might be in a little over his head. Okay, so no audio then.
Oh, you want the audio?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is just our third game. It's the next game. Favorites or lines don't mean anything to us. This is the NFL. I don't know Urban Meyer at all, really. I met him the other day, shook his hand before the game and after the game. And his comment to me was every week it's like playing Alabama in the NFL.
So with that being said,
that's it. Everybody's capable of beating everybody in this league.
His head because Urban Meyer.
Yeah, your time's up.
Twice because of health concerns.
Your time's up.
Oh, okay.
There is no challenge. So, Katie, what scores would you like to give out? Negative 20 to 20 for this.
So I don't know. I don't disagree with what Pledger is saying because just based on that audio clip where he's talking about just. It just seems really a little bit juvenile what he's saying. I'm sure Pledger has a much more a bigger argument there, but I actually don't disagree with what just the first statement before the audio clip, and then the audio clip in my opinion, supported what he said. And I like college football. Actually, watch more college football than I watch NFL. But so I will give him 15 points. And I'm not going to take away any on Packer because he didn't have a chance to challenge or argue either. So, and the chair can get -5 points because.
Nice.
Okay. Well, James Parker, it's your turn for your 60-second argument.
Okay, my 60-second argument comes from the weird story from the Border Patrol this week. There's some photographs of them, and they were accused of whipping Haitian immigrants that are trying to walk across the Texas-Mexico border. And just everything about this story seems weird. First off, how did the Haitians get here? They didn't walk here. They didn't swim here. 15,000 of them showed up on a boat. Nah, they had like a layover in Chile or something. So it got really complicated quick. But the thing that caught my attention, of course they're not using whips. It was just the reins that were flopping around real funny looking in the picture. It's not like they hand Rusty the whip before he goes to patrol the border. What an absurd accusation that was to begin with. But why is the Border Patrol still using horses? What year is this? Can't you get like a little four-wheeler or something, or like a dune buggy? Does the IRS sometimes use an abacus? You know, like usually we use computers and calculators, but you know your tax return is a little janky, so we whipped out the abacus to take care of that.
James Pledger, a 30-second challenge.
Well, they're using horses because that is probably the best mode of transportation in that area. It's not like there's gas stations on every corner to fill up your ATV. I'm pretty sure once you get out into the desert in that area, you need transportation that's not going to run out of fuel as you're running down, whether it's immigrants or just trying to help people that are lost in the desert. So horse actually seems like a fair method of transportation. Plus, I watched Mr. Ed as a kid, and that horse was delightful.
And James Parker, your 30-second rebuttal.
No, we're not going to run out of gas. Come on, dude. We have gas cans and things like that. And you can take some extra tanks with you if you want, and you can take your big truck to get pretty close. It just seems weird. It'd be like if you went to the VA and they handed some old veteran from Vietnam, here's some leeches, is what it looks like to me. We don't have a mechanical improvement on the horse. It's something that poops. We can't do better than this in 2021. Does the military sometimes haul out the old cannons? Does a school bus show up for your kids and it's a wagon train? It's just weird. It's weird.
All right. Katie, what scores you want to give our three debaters? -20 to 20 for those arguments.
Well, first of all, I don't think we considered that the Border Patrol probably needs, like, just maybe river dolphins would be, like, a really good mode of transportation there at the border on the river. But, you know, I do feel like James Tucker has a point. Horses do seem a little antiquated, but Pledger makes a good counter-argument. I don't know what the situation on the border is like in terms of gas and fuel. And horses pooping is just proof of gas and fuel. But so I don't really know where I'm going with this argument here. But so Packer can have 15 points also. Pledge can get 5 because I like that. And the chair can lose another 5 because I like that.
All right. So this next argument comes from the empty chair.
Are we falling back into some bad highway habits? This is Jeff Gilbert with the Car Chronicles. After rising last year, the highway fatality rate took another big jump in the first half of this year.
Average highway speeds have increased across the United States. We're seeing more people in accidents and fatality accidents unbuckled. And we're seeing more impairment.
Mark Chung of the National Safety Council says people are ignoring driving basics.
For whatever reason, we're not adhering to those types of best practices.
So how do we turn this around?
You know, I think we have to go back to basics and really re-educate people on the virtues of slowing down, of buckling up, of not drinking and driving.
Roughly 21,000 people died on the nation's highways in the first half of this year. With the Car Chronicles, I'm Jeff Gilbert, CBS News.
All right, a 30-second challenge from James Pledger.
Look, I don't like that the chair is trying to tell me that I either need to wear a seatbelt or do something in my own motor vehicle. In terms of most things, this is Darwinism. You either get behind it or you disobey and something bad happens. And in that case, I'm all for it because it's just a great way of population control. Darwinism was the original way to handle population control. And I think that the chair is trying to push a narrative on me, and I don't appreciate it.
And, Chair, what's your response to that?
During the pandemic, 1 in 5 workers with a disability lost their job. That's compared to 1 in 7 workers in the general population. That's discouraging, but perhaps not surprising, as disabled workers often face an uphill battle at every step in their career. October is National Disability Employment Awareness Month, and among the employers that do not even need any reminding is Ernst & Young. Their co-founder, Arthur Young, was deaf and had low vision. Unable to successfully practice as a courtroom lawyer, he turned to accounting, where he became wildly successful. AT&T, Starbucks,
all right, we get a chair.
Chase,
chair,
are among
come on.
Other large employers.
Chair, come on. You're wasting our time.
All types of workers. One respected study found that companies that prioritize the hiring of disabled workers were far more likely to outperform
this argument doesn't even make any sense.
And shareholder returns have higher revenue.
All right, Chair, we got to stop. All right, Chair, all right. Oh,
it's big chair propaganda, yeah.
God. Katie, what scores you want to give all three of our debaters for whatever argument that was from the chair?
So chair gets -12 because that was just, it made no sense, But I'm happy to know that October is National Employee Disability Month, I guess. The only good takeaway from that. I agree with Pledger. It is Darwinism at its finest. My only issue is if those people who are driving like, I was going to probably say a word that has to be bleeped out because it's the radio, driving inappropriately or whatever. If other people who are driving safe accidentally get hurt, that does suck. They didn't ask to be a victim of Darwinism. But I agree generally. So you can get an additional 7 points. And Packer, you don't have to lose any.
Okay. All right. Well, coming up, who's going to win? It all comes down to one final fight. This is Master Debaters from KTSA.
From 550 KTSA and FM 1071, this is Master Debaters, the show where the best argument wins.
And that argument, it ends right here, right now. It's battle this week between James Parker, James Pledger, and a really off-the-rails empty chair. Just spewing junk. I don't even know. But their arguments, they're trying to make them the best. And our judge, Katie Barber, KTSA News reporter Katie Barber, is going to try to dole out the points and figure out who is the best. But it's going to come down to one final fight.
Closing arguments on Master Debaters.
So, yeah, a 4-minute melee is going to decide it all. I'm going to present a topic, and our three contestants will hash it out amongst themselves for a whole 4 minutes. No more, no less. At the sound of the final buzzer, our judge will give each combatant up to 100 points or can take away up to 100 points. The person with the fewest points will get a 15-second head start, and then everyone else can join in after that bell has rung. So, any wild guesses as to who has the fewest points at this point in the show?
Chair.
Big chair propaganda.
Yeah, it's the chair.
It's little chair propaganda now.
Yeah, the chair's the fewest points right now. So the topic...
15-second head start.
The topic, pop music, is often described as catchy, but a new study suggests you really can infect friends with your music taste.
Your friend plays you that catchy tune, then you download that catchy tune, and so on. An analysis of a database of more than 1 billion song downloads found they conform to the same standard mathematical model of how epidemics spread through populations. That's right, catchy tunes are the Delta variant of music. Who knows what you'll download now that you've heard this report. You're welcome.
That's correspondent Vicky Barker. Thanks. Would you say this is a good infection, a bad infection? What songs would you consider to be a quote-unquote plague? And what would you consider to be a cure, if we were to use these pandemic-y kind of terms? It's a 4-minute argument. That empty chair, just sitting there in the corner, gets a 15-second head start, which begins right now.
Whoa, 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 whoa. You cannot think that Wham is going to be this cure-all for all music earworms. That is not true. I love Wham as much as anyone else, Empty Chair, but you cannot go down that road.
Well, I also think the cure to one earworm is to replace it with a newer earworm. That keeps going. And of course, you're going to adopt your friends' playlists and their musical selections. They're going to introduce you to new music. You're going to like some of it. You're going to adopt some of it. That's the way it goes. And of course, it follows the same sort of linear algorithm as pandemics, because, you know, the people you hang out with the most, they also get your viruses and not just your musical taste as well.
Think that I like all of my friends' music. I like some of it, but that's because it falls into a certain taste of music that I happen to like or enjoy. I don't think I'm influenced by my friends' music taste, because there are certain songs that they'll play that I absolutely hate and don't want to hear. We'll change the channel on them. So I don't believe that it's pandemically spread the same way as, let's say, COVID-19 or influenza or any other massive disease, because it's an earworm and it'll hit you, but it has to feed on your own musical taste. You're not going to automatically like something just because your friends happen to like it. I think your own music tastes play into this, and that's something that is buried deep within you from your childhood that is kind of ingrained.
I don't know if any of the last few sentences made any bit of difference, because I'm so offended by your anti-Wham bigotry. I mean, it's a phobic level, Pledger, and it's really unacceptable in 2021. I mean, I hope Andrew Ridgely, if he's not a fan of KPSA already, if he finds this podcast one day or sees it on YouTube or wherever Dennis is going to put it, if he hears this, you broke his heart, okay, with your anti-Wham, just slander is what it is, and I'm almost embarrassed to be part of this segment.
Not how you're going to cure the entire pandemic. That's not how this is going to work. Not everybody's going to have the same musical taste, and Wham isn't everyone's bailiwick. I happen to like it, but it's not everybody's cup of tea. Or I guess in George Michael's taste, it would be a cup of tea. So
didn't he die? Isn't George Michael dead? And
he's dead.
Yeah, but Andrew Ridgely's still alive, right?
He is.
Yeah. Did he ever do anything besides Wham? Because I really thought he carried that group.
No, but it's hard, because there's certain British people that you thought would have gone on to do a whole lot more. Like Rick Astley. I would have thought he would have done a whole lot more. His voice is its own earworm. I could listen to Rick Astley sing about almost anything.
Do you think that if he hung out with Andrew Ridgely, that their playlist would sort of have a little more crossover than it did previously? You know, that they pass along each other's musical taste?
That might be a crossover I'd be willing to listen to, if we got a little Rick Astley and Andy, a little Wham Astley crossover. You get those beautiful pipes from Astley with the musical genius that is Andy. Like, that's something, you may be onto something right here.
Yeah, his name's Andrew Ridgely. It's the other guy from Wham. I'm glad you were able to phony your way through that, but I'm still disappointed, and I think I've exposed you as the fraud you are, Pledger.
All right. So I honestly think that the chair may have thrown you guys off. So the two questions that I asked for this topic, first, under this premise, would you say this is a good thing or a bad thing? Is the spread of music through your, the friendship spread of music, like an infection, is that a good thing or a bad thing? And then the second thing was, and you guys kind of talked about it, what songs do you consider to be like a plague, that are just, awful earworms to have just circulating society? And what do you consider to be a cure? The songs that you're like, hey, I want to hear that. or that's a benefit to society right there. Katie, what's your assessment on the arguments? -100 to 100 for all three of our debaters.
Okay, so what I don't think we're appreciating right now is that this discussion about music, and I guess Wham specifically, was like a little explosion of friendship, because you guys started out arguing with each other, and by the end of that, y'all were like having an actual honest discourse and giving each other recommendations, and it was actually very sweet. So in its own way, I think the argument actually proved itself in a weird way. So I will give James Packer, out of 100? That's a lot of points.
Well, -100 to 100.
Okay, so the chair can get a -100.
I don't think he did that bad.
She really hates the chair. I mean, I think the chair was very impactful in this argument, but I will cede to the judge.
They can be impactful, but also wrong.
Wow.
You can make a difference, but you can also be wrong.
But James Packer,
His little chair nights.
I'll give James Packer 88 points, and I'll give James Pledger 82 points.
Okay, well, let's see here. Do some final math.
This isn't a musical chair.
To see who this week's master debater is. So after a series of discussions, some coherent, some not. That's what happens when an empty chair shows up. It's a wild experience. It's time to name this week's master debater. Unexpectedly in third place, with a negative score of 110, -110, is the empty chair. Shocker. In second place, with 163 points, James Parker, which means this week's master debater, with 173 points, James Pledger. Not only are you the master debater this week, you're, I guess, the master of James? 6 seconds to celebrate. Go ahead.
Yeah, also the master JP. So many people to thank. I have to start by thanking KTSA News reporter Katie Barber for allowing me to come out on top in this debate of heated proportions between the Jameses and the empty chair, and the chair trying to spread its big tree propaganda from the ACA, which I didn't know existed until today, and the American Christmas Tree Association. That's just something that needs to be looked into a little bit further. I think that it feels like there's some shady things going on under the table when it comes to Christmas now, and I'm not okay with that. I'd like to thank my competitor, James Parker, and even though that he is misguided in his musical tastes, that I don't hold any ill will towards him, and that he should probably get some of those bubble poppy thingies and start to pop them, and maybe he'll feel better at the end of this.
So, would you guys make the empty chair an honorary James, or does it not? Is it not deserving of the James name?
Chair is fine. His last name can be Chair. His first name will be James.
Okay. Pledger.
So that would make it the first all James episode.
That's true. James,
kind of shoehorning it in there, but I'll take it.
Yeah, James Pledger. Do you agree with that, or?
Sure. It could be James. Chair could be its middle name, and we could call him James Chair
Paper
Propaganda.
James Chair Paper, because he's in the big tree conspiracy.
I see what you did.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Big thanks to our 3 debaters this week. James Parker, who you can hear on WRNO in New Orleans. James Pledger, who you can hear on San Antonio Sports Star, 1250 AM and 94.5 FM. And James Chair Paper?
You.
Whatever we're calling the empty chair. We thank the chair for sitting there in the corner and doing its thing. And a big thanks to our judge this week, KTSA News reporter Katie Barber. Thank you. Masturbators is a production of KTSA San Antonio. Learn more about Masturbators online at ktsa.com. I'm Dennis Foley. This has been Master Debaters, the show where the best argument wins.
San Antonio's home for news and talk. On air, online, and on demand. 550 KTSA and FM 107.1.